Right, Andrew.
Hey, how you doing?
Morning.
I see you're back in black.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Sad news this morning.
Yeah. Long time coming, I guess, and that he was in the hospital for a long time.
We are one of the shows in Hong Kong that mentioned Lee Kuan Yew has been really, really ill.
Yes. Yep.
And that was even before local press
started talking about it. Well,
yeah. Of course, the Singaporean media has been very concerned. But,
of course.
Not Hong Kong media. But
well, I remember you and I talked about it when I came back from Singapore after Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year.
He was already in ICU, and also at the same time that news came out about his son having issues with cancer again.
Yes.
All at the same time.
And then his son was healed.
Yeah.
And then his father got.
It was already.
The father got really sick. I can't use two his in the same sentence.
Yeah. So Lee Kuan Yew has passed, and kind of goes to the theme that I want to talk about today for the politics in the week that was.
Yes.
And just there seems to be a little bit of unraveling happening here and there.
The week before.
The week before. Like what happened last week.
Yeah.
So
this week.
The question is, what's going to happen now that Lee Kuan Yew's gone?
Yep.
In Singapore. Not strictly speaking a Hong Kong issue we usually handle, but I think it's interesting, and we'll have to keep a close eye on the watch of the sun to see if he can hold together the Singaporean elites that have gotten together behind this family in creating the thing that I like to call the Royal Kingdom of Singapore Incorporated.
Quote unquote.
Quote unquote, the Royal Kingdom Incorporated, and whether or not to see if the prince, who is now king, can hold it all together. So we will have to see if Prime Minister Lee can command the same enough of the same sort of authority that his father had to keep the Singapore packed together, or see if it starts to unravel as other aspirants to the throne see if perhaps this is their opportunity to advance themselves.
Well, if they can,
yes,
then they can sustain the new system.
Yeah.
That Lee Kuan Yew and his son has built.
Yeah.
Together with the second Prime Minister in between.
Yeah.
In Chinese, but
the regent, as I like to call him.
Yes,
the caretaker.
Yeah. But
yeah,
if there's new development, or if the road is not smooth, then what has been built?
Well, or even if
can be changed drastically, or materially.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
Even if the road is smooth, people will just get people are just ambitious, and the son, the prime minister, there's no heir apparent that is going to step in. So it'll be a question of what's going to happen.
The third generation of the Lees are not interested in politics.
Not into it at all. So we'll see. So we'll be looking to see whether or not there's a little bit of an unraveling of the pact, the compact that has made Singapore so successful.
So new Asian dynamics.
Yes, we'll be on the lookout.
It's not only new Singaporean dynamics domestically, but as one country has changed, other countries will dance together.
Yeah, of course. So that'll be.
I use the word dance because I don't want to use more aggressive words.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Unraveling closer to home.
Okay.
Looking again, unraveling. When we started Harbour Times almost 2 years ago, one of the things that happened the same week that we launched was the launch of the ATD, right? The Alliance for True Democracy. And the Democrats have pretty much, for the longest time seemed to have held it together. They were, their factionalism seemed to have been held in abeyance for a while. Joseph Cheng, the convener, managed to hold everybody together. But I'm wondering if the unraveling of that alliance is starting to happen now. The different political parties are becoming a little more fractious with each other. They're back to their old ways of saying, do we take a harder line with the government, or do we try to, maintain more popular support?
I'll show you.
Okay.
This is what the Pandemocrats looks like.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And then they change it to like this.
Yeah.
Okay, we shake hands.
Yeah.
And now they're changing it like this.
Back to their old ways. And the latest, of course, is Ronnie Tong and Claudia Mo. They're in the same party.
Yeah.
This is a perennial problem in Hong Kong. Party discipline. It's just practically non-existent on the Pan-Dem side.
Yeah. But Ronnie was interviewed over the weekend.
Yeah.
And he said a lot of the people asked him to start up a new political party.
Yeah, but he's like, but I'm not going to do it. And it's like, well, then why talk about it? I mean, and just get everybody upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for testing the waters when it's the appropriate time, but it just doesn't seem to be that productive to say, we're thinking about it, but we're definitely not going to do it. In the time-old political tradition of saying you're not going to do something and then doing it. But still, it just doesn't seem to be all that productive, for the bigger goals. So I'm wondering if we are starting to see the unraveling of the pandems generally, if they can't even keep it together within one party. And now the one side of the whole political system in Hong Kong that does have good discipline and stays aligned, of course, is the pro-establishment side. With the occasional outlier, James Tin, we'll go cowboy once in a while. But generally, they have it pretty good. But their plans are all not going according to plans as well. And I mean, the latest, of course, the ITB was a big, they're trying to find a workaround for that now. But now the airport the third runway seems to be under fire. And I have to admit, talking to people about a year ago, my line was, there will be some noise, but it's going to happen. But now things don't look so sure.
Well, you know what? Even within the Democratic Party, the younger members and the older generation of the Democrats
are divided
have very different views.
Yeah,
because
on the runway.
Yes, on the runway. Yeah, Albert Ho is in the runway committee.
Right.
Within the AA, within the airport authority. He is the board director, plus he is a core member of the runway system committee.
Yeah, which is presumably all pro-runway.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the district councillors and the younger fraction of the Democrats are all against it. So so you see.
So even within the pandems, but I mean, it seems like the pandems that were almost side players in this. It seems like more the special interest groups are having a bigger impact.
You know why?
On public
Do you know why? I have a theory.
Why is that?
Because the pro-establishment has more at stake. So when the stakes are high, when the stakes are high, they will toss the party line. They will be more unified and informed.
Absolutely.
And with the pan-democrats, I don't care about which parties because they're all very small.
Yeah.
With the pan-democrats, it's losing steam.
Yeah.
Then there will be fewer things at stake.
Yeah.
With fewer things at stake, I don't care. I will say what I want.
Yeah.
I will do what I want.
Yeah. And they lose.
And the more they go with their own way, their influence will diminish.
Yeah.
So more people will go. So that's what unraveling is about.
Yeah.
You gradually deteriorate into.
Pick a little string off the corner, but eventually the whole thing falls apart. Yeah. So we'll have to see. I think some of the pandems, they underestimate how much all those little frictions hurt their broader cause. And people in very successful political parties, especially parliamentary systems where you get one dominant party, they understand that, and that's why they have the party whip is ruthless in maintaining discipline, and when it falls apart, the party loses.
Because what is at stakes are really high. What are at stakes are really high. Because if your party stay unified, you can actually get support and donation and votes.
Yes.
If your party is in a mess, people won't vote for you. Donors won't give you any money. You see?
And it's got to be across the board. It can't just be on one issue, two issues.
That's kind of like politics 101. I just don't understand.
Well, Hong Kong's still
time
evolving.
Time for change.
Time for change.
Well, speaking of that, I do have a topic to discuss with you.
Okay,
which last week has become a big issue because of a relatively quiet public affairs scene.
Right.
The third runway.
Okay,
The third runway, finally, the airport authority said they are going to fund it themselves.
Well, sort of.
Yeah. And they are going to charge, say, Hong Kong dollars 180 for each passenger.
Like, while they are building it. And, some people go, 180, but that's like on top of the 120 they already charge. For me, whenever when I do that, it's like times 4. Family of 4, Hong Kong middle class family. I mean, that's $300 a person. That's $1,200 every time you want to go somewhere.
Again, I want you to put your Lance Rocks Institute founders hats
on.
Oh,
yes.
Some people are arguing that the government should fund the runway themselves,
which they
will,
so
that the Legislative Council can approve it or disprove it,
yay or nay,
in the Finance Committee.
But
rather, the government give a go to the airport authority.
Sure, on environmental and other, basically, yes, you can build it.
But now that they are not getting money directly.
Well, no,
from the taxpayers.
Yeah, but they're going to forego dividends, which is the same thing.
But they're not getting. But foregoing dividend, you don't really need to go to the Legislative Council.
Technical, but
So what I'm thinking is, it's kind of like less of a public funding model,
right?
But more a market funding model. because they are going to get institutional investors as well.
Which is what they should be doing. Actually, if I was going really free market, privatize the airport,
or at least try to raise fund for a bond, for the third runway bond. It's kind of like Toronto. Toronto have this green bond to build the monorail.
Right.
They want to have the monorail like Vancouver.
Yeah.
Possibly they think that it's too expensive to dig up underground. So
so they just put it above ground.
Yeah, but they don't call it monorail bond. They call it green bond.
Yeah. That's all in the politics. But and I had somebody point something out. Someone's like, "Oh, well, the airport's a strategic asset. Beijing wouldn't approve of the Hong Kong government totally privatizing it." Hello, Beijing airport.
But still,
it's privatized.
Yeah, but still, they are not privatizing the entire airport, but they are going to go to institutional investors for funding this time as well.
Yeah.
So I think that part is okay.
I would say more.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You are from the Lance Rock angle now. Should go for 100% all the way to the market.
Privatize it. Get your $50 billion up front. Don't forego it in dividends, and then see if the market will support it.
But for me, as a more moderate person, I would rather they at least a huge sum of the funding go for institutional investors, rather than all from the taxpayers.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, so from that angle, I think it's not the worst case scenario, because there is risk involved.
But could be better.
There is risk involved. There is risk involved, especially about the air traffic control and all that.
Yeah.
So with that much risk involved, I would rather they don't touch our pockets and go for the market approach. Of course, the ideal scenario is the whole project is funded by
the private sector.
That's the perfect
scenario.
But they won't do this. I mean, because they don't. They still want a lot of control.
Yeah,
they still want a lot of control.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Yeah. If the institutional investors are not interested,
then it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, then it won't happen.
Tells you something.
So I think that's key. That's key. I mean, a lot of people has missed out on that. But I know when I talk to you, you will get it immediately.
Of course. And frankly, I think I think institutional investors would be interested.
Yeah.
The Hong Kong airport is fantastically profitable, and if they were taking loans, I'm sure they'd be good for the money. And institutional investors.
You know what? If the third runway fundraising is not as ideal as they originally planned it, then they might go for further privatizing the airport.
Hopefully,
because there's no going back to the Letchco now.
Yeah.
If the fundraising is not going smooth as planned, then they may need to bring out more things to attract the investors.
Yes. And I mean, the filibustering we've seen this year will not be as effective in following years because the pandems won't be able to pull the fast move they did with the Public Works Subcommittee. Which was political genius, but you can only do that once.
Okay.
So we'll have to wait and see what happens with this airport. But yeah, you're right. It may end up with more pressure for it to be privatized.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Then we will go to your way then.
Hey!
Well, anything else to unravel?
No, that's all I'm going to unravel for this week. I just want to keep people focused and advise people, if you're watching our week past, you might also want to check out our daily segments on the week ahead. I think that's a good idea. How about you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
See ya.